And so then I got this wonderful opportunity in a series called Star Trek, right? And I thought, oh my gosh, Gene Roddenberry had given me my first guest star, which you saw a scene from that episode in The Lieutenant. And 3 years later, he called my agent and said, fine, Nichelle, we're doing Star Trek, I want her in here. And I was so honored, you know, and I thought this is going to be such a great asset to my resume for theater, that I have this background in television and movies, you know, and that it would be this great stepping stone for me. After I didn't know how much work there was in and how tedious it could be, stop and go and get the lights right and then start all over again and do it 6 different ways for the close-up and all of that. And by the end of the first season, I was okay. And I went to Gene, and now it's on air, and I'm getting some real attention. And I started getting offers, and right in the area that I wanted, you know. And so I thought this was my great opportunity, and I went to Gene and told him that I was leaving the show after the first season. And he begged me not to. He said, don't you understand what I'm trying to achieve here? And I didn't. So I understood it was a great opportunity. But he said to me, take the weekend and think about this, and if you still feel this way, come back Monday, and you will leave with my blessings. And I said, thank you, Gene. And as fate would have it, I think it was really the next night, on Saturday, that I was asked to sit on the dais at a big fundraiser. It may have been NAACP, but I'm not quite sure. And one of the promoters came to the dais just as I sat down and said, Ms. Nichols, there's someone who wants to meet you. He says that he is your greatest fan. And so I thought, there's a little Trekkie in the room, you know? And so I said, certainly. So before I could get up, I turned around, and there across the room was, in my face, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Oh.
And he had this beautiful smile on his face, walking straight at me. And I remember saying, I don't know who that Trekkie is, but he's going to have to wait because I'm going to meet my hero. And Dr. King walked up to me, and I was so nervous, you know. It was like a dream, you know. And he's smiling at me, and he walks up to me, and he says, yes, Miss Nichols, I am your greatest fan. I am.
God.
My mouth opened and closed and opened and closed, and then he began to say, you have one of the most wonderful roles. Images are so important, and you have, you know, this in the manner in which you've created the character, we have great pride. And I said, thank you, Dr. King. I'm really going to, for all that you've said, I'm really going to miss my co-stars. And Dr. King said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I just told Gene Roddenberry that I'm going to be leaving after the first season. This is the end of the first season. I'm going to be leaving the show because I have, and he said, you cannot do that. And I wanted to say, what you talking about, Dr. King? But a little boy was going to say that later. But I was dumbfounded, and he said, don't you understand? You have the first non-stereotypical role in television. What we see is how we're supposed to be. For the first time, the world sees us as we are supposed to be seen, as qualified, beautiful, intelligent people, and you're not a menial.
Yeah, great.
You're not a menial. You have to stay there.